What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Frustrated Grad podcast. This is our post Christmas special, I guess you could say.
I thought you were actually gonna like give the number of whatever
This
podcast is.
is this is Frustrated Grad podcast number uh,
Whatever
39.
39.
Yeah, if I wanted to do an intro like we used to do for uh, the wrestling podcast, well, I only did that for number 5 because the whole Booker team, but I would have had to say 38 times, 38 times, 38 times, 38 times. Just kept like no. Uh, but yeah, so welcome to the show. How was your Christmas, co-host Tony Hoffman?
It was pretty relaxing. I spent it with my mom and older brother. I bought my mom a TV, a little
Cool.
Toshiba TV. It just has a 720
Okay,
resolution on it, but I don't think she cares about the
it's not a cinephile.
exactly
Yeah,
tech savvy as me or you. But yeah, I bought myself Rise of the Tomb Raider used on Amazon, and I
all
really
right.
like that game. That game is
That's a
fucking
newer
awesome, man.
game.
Yeah, it came out last November.
Okay, I don't keep up with the games very much. The last Tomb Raider I played was probably where Laura Croft was super pixelated with
That's what I was gonna
pointy
say.
features
Pointy,
on
big
like
pointy tits,
yeah, like on PlayStation 1. Uh,
sharp
yeah,
polygon breasts.
yeah. Um, so that's
Yeah, I
cool.
that, and I bought myself Don't Breathe, that a horror movie starring Jane Levy that came out
Yeah,
earlier this year. It's really good.
yeah. I really liked it. I saw it in theaters, and
Nice.
yeah, I really enjoyed it. Um,
Best horror movie of the year?
I don't see much competition, but because I'm trying to think, I think It Follows came out last year,
Yes.
right?
Did you see Ouija 2?
Yeah,
I
that's not in the contention.
Yeah, people say that like the it's better than the first one, and that
I
the
never
twist.
saw the first one. It was a
Me neither.
pattern this year. I saw a lot of movies that I had not seen the originals. Like I saw Ninja Turtles 2. I saw
Ugh.
like Ice Age number 4, whatever that was, and I saw um, Ouija too.
I think with all of those movies you mentioned, like knowing like the continuity and like the history of the fucking series isn't important,
No. Uh,
especially with the Ninja Turtles.
yeah, it's like, oh, Bebop and Rocksteady are finally here. I watched this one, and I
Exactly.
will not go back to catch up.
Sh- Seamus as one of them, right?
Yeah, I can't remember if he's Bebop or Rocksteady, but he's one of them. It's like a lot of dig jokes in a movie you would think would be aimed towards
For
kids.
kids.
So they
Yeah.
have like, oh, I gotta. They're looking down at their new animal privates, and they're like, my man. Like really,
Stupid,
that's
stupid, stupid, stupid,
like of
stupid.
all the movies that have like butchered uh, scenes for the purposes of a PG-13 release, that's one that could have hit the chopping room floor. Uh, but
How was your Thanksgiving or your Christmas with no presents?
uh, it's just like every other Christmas with no presents. like, yeah, it
Did you
was.
at least put up a tree?
Yeah, we put up a tree. I'm not a Grinch. Uh, like we have no presents because there's no money. It's not about it's not about lack of Christmas cheer. I put up a tree, made a big Christmas breakfast, and we had
Oh, nice.
a big dinner. Uh, so yeah, that's a new tradition I'm starting as a grown ass man with only uh, only myself and my own family to take care of.
I approve.
Yeah. So, so you watched Don't Breathe on Christmas.
Yes,
Very festive movie.
exactly. I hate Christmas music. I didn't watch. I may have watched like maybe like 5 seconds of A Christmas Story. The whole marathon thing on
It's like you
TBS and
can't avoid
TNT.
it. It's like
Yeah, exactly.
I was trying to go to something else. It's on.
Yeah, and then like
Fragile. It must be from France.
I didn't watch the fucking Disney Christmas parade. I did watch
Oh,
the football games and the basketball games, of course.
all right,
I know
good
that.
for you.
I know you skipped all of those, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, there's some elements that could tie "Don't Breathe" and Christmas together. Like, some a lot of people follow kind of the traditions on Thanksgiving. On Christmas, they bake a turkey, and you have to use that turkey baster to make sure it's
Exactly.
nice and moist. So
That yeah,
yeah,
you reminded me of when she gets away from him when the dude you think he's dead, but he comes back and he saves her, and she takes the baster and like sticks it in his
jams in
mouth.
his throat.
I can rewind it.
A boiling hot turkey baster full of semen. Spoiler alert, but Don't Breathe came out a little while ago. But yes, that was one thing I had to avoid in my review, but it was the main thing that stood out in my mind. It's like, oh my god, like because
Why would you avoid it in
I think
your
I gave it.
review?
I mean, some people don't like spoiler reviews, so I wanted to give enough information to let people know to go see it if they hadn't seen it. But yeah, for anybody who has seen it, I could talk about it a little bit. I thought the movie was great, and yeah, the standout moment was a boiling hot turkey baster full of blind man semen and
Blind
one
man Steven.
and one hair. But
Yeah.
I was thinking because we were thinking when
Yeah,
we watched it,
yeah,
like it's so gross, but it's like, of
that
course
magnifying glass
yeah,
where
but
you
of
see it.
course he can't see it because he's blind, so he wouldn't know to take the hair out of it. I mean, you probably wouldn't try anyway if you could see it. But yeah, like that's just so gross.
Awesome. And the door is open for a sequel, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, it makes the movie more unrealistic towards the end because he survived like falling down the stairs and being shot. But that's the horror movie thing. But like up to that point, everything was pretty realistic. Like he didn't have like super blind powers. Like he was still feeling around like you would assume a blind man would, but he's just like
Yeah.
a military trained blind man.
And you would
So
assume that like his other senses would be heightened to his smell and hearing and everything else.
yeah. So in other non-Christmas related
Non
holiday
semen
activity,
filled baster,
yeah,
turkey baster news.
yeah.
Um,
On Christmas, I ended up watching a marathon of Scream Queens. So, kind of in that same vein because it's,
yeah, man.
I
All
started
that
that show.
Christmas crap is just,
Yeah, yeah. I started that show in the first season, but I just kind of got off track with it, and I decided to go back and revisit it. I didn't remember that show being like as funny as it was. The show was like hilarious.
oh, nice. I always got like kind of like it's kind of like a Mean Girls type
Kind
vibe
of.
mixed in
It,
with like
it
some horror.
Yeah, it's funny. Like the like every pitch for TV shows nowadays is like it's this meets this,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
for Scream Queens, it's kind of like it's basically the general like plot is like a whodunit, pretty much exactly like MTV's Scream, but that combined with like American Horror Story, the Coven season with the witches,
Hmm.
and a little bit of Mean Girls. So that combination was interesting. Plus, it was like it's very like there's a lot of comedy and it's like this might be what's missing from American Horror Story because like the same guy who
Ryan Murphy,
produces
yeah,
it, yeah,
same
produces
person.
American Horror Story. Is like how can you make something that's like this funny, mixing horror and all that stuff together, while American Horror Story is consistently as awful as it is. I just, I mean, I don't get it. I think he's also was over Glee, and I
Yeah, yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
stand that for 1 second. So I guess people have different sides to them. But like, I feel like this was the best combination of his skills because it's like
Cause,
a good amount of gore, and then there's comedy, and
and you
there's
have that whole
yeah,
like with the teenage girl like element of it, like the whole
yeah,
yeah, school and popularity and like
yeah.
cliques and all that shit.
Yeah, so I watched quite a few episodes of that. Mostly done with the first season now. I'm probably going to continue that later today. Um, yeah, so I watched that and I
You had
again,
no presents to open. And
I my presence was the present for everyone.
you
Uh,
still haven't even uh, bought yourself Super Mario Run yet.
no, like I was saying before the show started, I cashed in some points I had on a credit card to get an iTunes gift card that they decided to send in the mail. Maybe when that finally shows up, I'll
Mm.
get Super Mario Run. But just like from playing through like the Toad Rally where you have to do the little uh, the
The
run where you
race against some
yeah
other
the
person,
like the ghost
other user.
person you have to
Yeah.
do more like flips and stuff than them. Like getting used to I got a little more used to the mechanics of playing the game from doing that a few
Yeah,
times,
yeah.
but
I'm
it's
better at it
still
too.
yeah, but it's still not my favorite type of game. So even
No.
like even when I uh, eventually get the full version of the game, this is probably not gonna be my go-to game. I'm probably still gonna hit up that Candy Crush if I want to just waste time for a few
Hit
minutes.
up that Candy Crush. Yeah, it's
Or
like the Super Mario Run. It's like I just it just makes you just want to play Mario, the regular
yeah,
Mario, where I can go backwards
yeah,
and
because like I wish I could just stop. like
exactly.
like
And
this.
like you haven't once you paid for it, you'll see like that there are like elements of like the usual mobile games, like the whole build a
Or the
city.
boss. Okay.
And yeah, the whole where it's like you can buy like this toad house and you can buy like this other accessory stuff to build up the mushroom kingdom, and it just
Yeah, I've
feels
tried
like
a
those,
little bit of that.
yeah, like city farm or whatever the fuck it's called in some of
Or
those other games.
Farmville. Yeah, but that's like I said, that's just a mechanism to add in-app purchases. It's like, okay, if you want more coins or whatever you need to build the city up, you can pay for them if you want to, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
so
we talked about how many worlds and levels there were going to be on the game. It's
yeah,
those same six, but in each of those six, you collect all five of those pink coins, and then the levels change a little bit, and you have to collect the five purple coins, which is a little bit more difficult, and then you have to
okay.
do it again and pick the five black coins for each level, and it's even more difficult, I
That
assume. So
doesn't sound fun to me, just the way you're describing. Because I can't even get all five of the pink coins in one run. It's like, so do you have to get them all in one run, or do you just have to at some point get each one of them?
yeah, and all in one run.
God damn it! I'm. This is probably this is probably not gonna be the game for me, because it's
Yeah.
like this. Just I like. I don't subscribe to the adage, if at first you don't succeed, try again. I try again, then I try again one more time, then I quit.
Like fuck this.
They're like, you know what? This is not fun. Uh,
I hope that their focus still stays on the consoles and they don't try to
yeah,
like
I
go
mean,
into the
this was um, a step out of the box for them to begin with. Like, they were very Nintendo is very precious about its properties, and this was
yeah.
them taking a huge leap just to give any version of a Mario game for some venue other than Nintendo hardware. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of these types of games. There might be there's going to be another game possibly that's also a stripped down version of one of their properties. It might be like Zelda Bubble Pop or something. One of
I
the
hope not.
it's just gonna
That sounds
be
like a more of a Kirby thing.
well, yeah, Kirby would work for that, and I would actually play that game. It would fit more with the characters. Just like my favorite thing about Mario wasn't like running through the entire board and missing
Oh,
everything. My favorite thing about Mario was being
getting
able to
power ups and
yeah,
yeah.
getting power ups, being able to use your fireball. Uh, if if I was like trying to skip an entire level, it would be like when you get the feather and you could just jump and
Yeah, and
fly through the
glide, yeah.
entire level. But uh, that just makes me miss like the real Mario that I love. So yeah, so still on the fence about how I feel about this game. It's uh, I'll try it out some more after I get this iTunes credit, but I don't expect my review will change much.
Yeah. Have you seen Rogue One yet? I know that
Yeah,
you
I
have.
yeah I saw it last Tuesday. Um, so
Thoughts, sir? Now that we've
uh,
both seen it.
now a lot of people were saying they liked it more than Force Awakens, but my verdict is that I liked it less. Uh, Actually, I feel like I don't really share the opinions of most people that I've heard about it in reviews. Like a lot of people like the gritty tone of it, and that it was basically a straight up
It looks
war
dirty.
movie.
Yeah, it's the
Uh,
first Star Wars movie that's actually
it's
about
actually a
war,
war movie,
where
but
there are casualties and friendly fire, and like
yeah,
the good guys actually like kill their other good guys and stuff.
yeah. But the thing to me about Star Wars that like like I said, I haven't always been a Star Wars guy, but the thing that did appeal to me about Star Wars was the adventure element and all the interesting characters. For Rogue One, I didn't feel like it had the same thing. Like it was a real focus on the war element, and to me, it was kind of like one of those um, war movies from the past. Like you would meet this core group of guys, and either like you lose some of them survive, or this may just be a standalone story about these guys in this final battle where they all went out with their heads held
Like
high. And
Saving
this,
Private Ryan or Thin Red Line or
yeah, so this is kind of like that, but in doing that, in being as gritty and realistic, I guess, as you could be in this world, you didn't give me a reason to care about these people who I like. You already know what's going to happen. Like we're on a mission to get the plans to the Death Star to uh, the Rebel Alliance so that they can stop it. Like, well, I know they succeeded that, and I also know I don't hear anything about these people in the future, in in the following four movies. So it's like these
you
people
didn't
are
think that you didn't think that Jen got enough like screen or enough time devoted to her and her who
she
she is
she
and
got time,
for you
but
to care about her.
I felt like when okay, we start off the movie, and this is going to be a spoiler heavy
Yeah.
discussion because everybody
Ooh,
has
yeah.
seen Rogue One at this point.
Yeah.
Um, but we start off with her as a kid, and we see a little bit about her relationship with her father. But it's basically like we start out as like run, Jen, and it's like okay, so her main like character trait is like she cares a lot about her father, but it's like we didn't get a lot about that. We just know that is a, a thing that she talks about. So it's like, okay, we get that, but pretty much from that point, they jump to her being an adult, and she's just on her way to being locked up for some reason. So it's kind of like she gets taken out of that and then recruited to this mission. So it's just like now she's about the mission. So I didn't really like knowing what I know about the story is like, okay, she's probably not gonna make it. So knowing that also kept me at a distance. Like I'm not gonna get too invested in this character, and I also didn't feel like I was given a lot of reason to get invested in during the course of the movie.
Hmm.
So it's like she was the one I was focused most on, but still there wasn't. She wasn't like Ray for me. It was like, oh, this person's very interesting because like when we see Ray at the start, we don't learn a lot about her either. But it's just like they give us like a decent little chunk of time just seeing her live life, like just scavenging, selling stuff,
Yeah, her
surviving. This is
Luke
how
Skywalker life. Yeah.
yeah, but it's like you at least learn like okay, this is the type of person she is. She's a scavenger. She just lives a simple life. She's by herself. She goes to cash in her pieces of this imperial ship that she's rummaging through, and this is just her simple life. And then she's thrown into this craziness. So it's like
Did you like the robot, the droid that was in
um, I
Rogue
thought
One, the Alan Tudyk
yeah,
voice?
I thought it was funny, and I think that like the highlights of the movie were like moments that involved him, like he was really not a fan of Jen, and it was like
Yeah, shared your views.
yeah. So I mean, I didn't want her to die, but I knew she was going to. So that that kind of takes away from it. It's just like knowing about. I mean, like I pieced it together beforehand, and then you kind of confirmed it. So then I was like, all right, I'm not expecting much from any of these people. Like they're gonna have their adventure here, and then it's gonna be over. So it's like even the other people, like the guy who has the big machine gun and the blind ninja guy, is like these guys are cool, but they're just like cannon fodder,
Hmm.
basically. So
Did you think that the Darth Vader stuff was cool or unnecessary or what did you?
I thought it was cool, but I think like before the movie came out, they said this was going to be the first standalone Star Wars movie, but it's not really a standalone. It's a direct prequel, and it would have
Yeah.
been like more interesting to see people having an adventure that didn't relate to the grand story of Star Wars, because it's like, oh, this universe is huge, instead of this entire universe feeling like a small town where you keep running into the same people over and over again. It's like like if you listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson, the universe is infinitely large and ever expanding, but these same handful of people keep bumping into each other, or you keep seeing these people over and over again. So that's kind of odd. In 7 movies that you see the same guy for at least 5 of them. Well, probably like 6 of 8 movies, I guess, at this point. So uh, that's another thing that was slightly disappointing. Like I learned about it before I got into it, but still wish there was more. Like, okay, this is something that could branch off into another story. It all kind of feeds into the same, like the the Darth Vader slash Skywalker family saga. It's all
Hmm.
part of that still.
So yeah.
But yeah,
Would you like to know the top 10 most tweeted about movies of 2016 and how they fared at the box office?
sure. I can guess one of them. I don't know. It might be number one, but I would say Ghostbusters. Probably.
That was number 10,
Okay, really?
actually.
Out of the top 10? Because I feel like with all the anger, I would think there would be a lot of tweets about it.
Yeah. Well, it just goes to show you that, hate isn't as strong a buzz as other issues, I guess.
All right.
Okay, that it only made 229 million worldwide at the box office. That's a disappointment to say the least. And you already mentioned like all the sexist stuff and all the hatred that, oh,
Yeah.
you're ruining my childhood.
Yeah.
Number 9 was Zootopia, which had made over 1 billion worldwide.
All right. So
It's
it
currently
was
the
number 9 most tweeted about, but probably made one of the highest
Yes,
numbers.
yes.
Okay.
Number 8 was the Revenant, the Academy Award winning
Was
Leonardo
that
DiCaprio.
2016? I felt like that was the end of 2015.
Yeah. End of 2015, beginning of 2016.
I guess
We're
so.
talking about tweeted about.
Okay, so they were still tweeting about it in
Yeah,
2016. I guess because
release.
awards season, and then people saw it after the it won awards finally. So that's usually how
Exactly.
that works.
Leo finally got his Oscar.
Yeah,
532.9 million worldwide for that.
that's
Number
good.
7 was Finding Dory. Hashtag Finding Dory, of course. That made over a
Yeah,
billion worldwide. As you would expect, the sequel to. I still haven't seen Finding Nemo or Finding Dory.
yeah, I haven't seen either. It just never appealed to me.
No, I'm not the biggest Ellen fan. But then I hate her, but I just don't find her all that funny. But anywho,
Homophobe.
no, I just
All
don't
right,
like boring, safe comedy. Um, Captain America Civil War, hashtag
all right,
Captain America Civil War, $1.15 billion. It's the sixth most tweeted movie of the year.
all right.
Let's see here, lots of buzz on that one, of course, like Spider Man and all of that.
Absolutely.
Number 5, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, hashtag Batman versus Superman,
Okay.
873 million worldwide, despite being just universally panned. It did make a
Yeah.
lot of money worldwide. The
Yeah.
key word there.
I mean, those names sell. I just
Yeah,
wish the
exactly.
movie they were in was doing
Good.
justice to those names.
Doing justice to the Justice League.
Exactly.
Um, Number 4 was Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Hashtag
Uh,
Harry Potter. Movie has made over 722 million worldwide. Uh,
uh,
since it's the entire Harry Potter franchise has made 7.7 billion
all right.
worldwide.
I did see that as well, and I fell asleep.
I just it, and I've seen all the Harry Potter movies, but that one is like I
I've
don't
only
care about
seen
this
two prior to that. I,
this
this,
prequel crap with these characters that I'm not familiar with and
yeah.
also
I'm Newt Scamander. I look like Doctor Who.
how's Johnny Depp's you know cameo, star powered cameo?
Jesus
What
Christ, I don't
character
even
does he play?
remember.
Doesn't he play like some bad guy or
I don't even remember Johnny Depp in there.
because I heard they casted him like later on, and like I think they might have casted him like after they finished shooting the movie just to like have some super famous person in it. I
I mean,
don't
they
know.
had Colin Farrell. I thought that was enough, but I can't
Colin
remember.
Farrell is a big name.
I mean, he's the biggest name in that movie at that up to that point. Uh, I was probably asleep when Johnny Depp was on
Yeah.
screen, so that's my
Number
review.
3, I will take that to heart. Number 3 was Deadpool. Hashtag Deadpool.
Awesome movie.
783 million. One of the highest grossing R-rated films of all time. It is the highest grossing
Yeah,
R-rated
it,
film of
it
all
got the
time,
record.
actually.
Yeah,
Technically, the
well
highest
deserved.
grossing X-Men film of all time. I don't see. I guess it's an X-Men
That's the problem with it.
film.
Let's side tangent on that a little bit. That's an X
Tangent
Men
on.
film, and I feel like, I mean, I'm sure it was probably in production ahead of time, but like I feel like the fact that they're racing towards the present in the X Men franchise, like, what was the last movie supposed to be
In the
in this?
80s,
What? Yeah,
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse was in the 80s. The one right before that, what, Days of Future Past, was supposed to be the
Past
70s.
70s.
So they jumped forward 10 years while nobody looks different. They look
No,
like only a year
terrible.
has passed, but they're racing towards the present because they want to once again retcon the X-Men continuity, and they want to catch up to Deadpool. So uh, it's just stupid. I
Yeah,
guess
I'm the
I guess you could say they never really gave a definitive timestamp, at least to me, in Deadpool, so they could say Deadpool's in the 90s, maybe, because it was basically all 90s music or late 90s music that was in Deadpool. So
I'm
maybe
trying to
they'll
think.
meet up at some point.
Was there anything that puts that movie in the present? Were there any like references
I
or
mean, there was an Easter egg level reference of there was a
IKEA?
IKEA's been around for a while. There was a crashed helicarrier, which, if you want to think of like the fan conspiracy type theory, is that like, oh, Deadpool is kind of in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they were fighting on a crashed helicarrier that crashed during. Uh, it was either the events of Winter Soldier or one of the Marvel movies.
And then like the Hello Kitty bag that he had, or the watch.
I
Like
mean that that product model might have been made in the 2000s, but Hello Kitty is kind of a decently old franchise.
in America, like it
I
was
mean, it
popular.
wasn't. It, I mean, it has recently risen to prominence in America, but I think
Hmm.
if you would say this took place in like 1998, you probably could have still found that. Um, but
Mm,
yeah, I mean, it's more of a conspiracy level thing because if you just listen to Deadpool's references, he talks about
exactly.
McAvoy and James Stewart. Those are obviously things that wouldn't, that haven't happened yet. But then it's like, okay, he knows he's in a movie. So does he also know that he's in a movie about the past and he's breaking the fourth wall as well as time traveling? It's like there's a lot of ways you can go with that. But that's a
Mm,
tangent for another episode.
I like Deadpool. Number 2, Suicide Squad. Hashtag Suicide Squad. 745 million worldwide. One of the most anticipated films of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I was more excited about it based on promotion than Batman versus Superman. Before I had seen either of them, I was more excited about Suicide Squad.
Mm.
But
The eighth highest
Was I
grossing film
wrong?
of the year, by the way.
All right.
And number one, pretty much the Star Wars films, The Force Awakens and Rogue One. They're
All right.
combining them both. Hashtag Star Wars. Force Awakens has made over 2 billion worldwide, and the Rogue One, a Star Wars story, has so far made 442 million worldwide.
All
They
right.
bookend the year, the beginning of 2016 and the end
I
of
mean, it was like
2016.
Christmas to Christmas, I guess. But
Yeah,
yeah,
we're gonna have that situation for the next, I think, 2 or 3 years actually, with
yeah.
the
So
Han Solo, or no, the what Episode 8
yeah,
next
it's
year,
next
and
year.
then the Han Solo standalone the year after that.
Yeah, I'm more excited for episode 8 because
Yeah,
it's like even though they keep reaching back to the past and keep making old references, like episode 8 is going to be the farthest they've got away from um, like the old aesthetic of Star Wars. Like episode 7, Force Awakens was introducing new characters, but they still like, hey, Leia's still here, hey, Han Solo's still here, but like, okay, now you got no Han Solo. You don't have much of a reason to have Leia there, but obviously Luke's gonna be there, so it's still gonna be a little bit of that. But I'm hoping they branch out more. Maybe we can see more of this universe.
yeah. I would like to see a standalone that takes place in the, you know, like the, I guess the present day of like the events of what's happening,
Yeah,
as opposed to something in a galaxy long, long ago in the
yeah.
past.
And that was another thing that you just reminded me of about Rogue One is that this was the first movie that said, okay, we're getting rid of the opening crawl, but the entire like first scene with Ray being hidden, I mean, Jyn Erso
Jin.
being hidden and having to run, and she ends up being recruited by the Rebel Alliance. That could have all been told in one of those opening crawls because we didn't see anything significant there. Like there was this girl named Jyn Erso. Her father was one of the architects for the Death Star. He he began to have second thoughts about it, and he uh, left the Empire. They pursued him, and he had to hide his family. And then this is the story of his daughter, Jen. That could have all been told in the opening crawl.
But do you think it still would have had the same emotional impact of actually seeing like his wife and her mother get killed, and then her running away, and their
I mean, they it would have had like obviously seeing it gives more emotional impact, but it also has no bearing on the rest of the story. Like her mother is not significant at all after
but
that
you see
scene where she
why
dies.
but you see why she ended up having to leave, and her father ends up being, ends up staying with the empire, and why they were separated for so long, and
Yeah, you see what happens, but then they still kind of yada yada it until her adulthood. So, like, that's basically the same thing as doing the crawl. It's like, okay, you give us this one scene, then you give us another scene that's like 10, 15 years later. So, it's like, okay, that could have all been taken care of with this crawl, and then it would have made sense why she's an adult now. It's like, we don't know what happened while did she just hide in that little hole for 15 years? Like, now you can come
mhm.
out. I don't know. It's just there wasn't necessarily the one where they had to get rid of the crawl
Do
because
you think like
we.
the whole do you think like the whole objective, or like the whole story of the movie was like her story and why we should care about her, or do you think it was just this is how they were able to
I think
destroy the Death Star, and how they were able to
yeah, I feel like this like the main purpose of this movie was not to tell a story about Jin
one
Erso at
person,
all.
yeah.
It was the main story was to fill plot holes in Star Wars Episode 4. It's like
Yeah.
why can the Death Star be destroyed with just one shot into this hole? It's like well, let's make an entire movie to explain that. And also like how did they get the plans? Like okay, this is how it happened.
Yeah, because you already mentioned like, okay, we all know that these people get killed,
Yeah,
at the end, and like, so it's pretty much we're not supposed to care about them that much. We're supposed to just be focused on this is how they were able to destroy the Death Star.
yeah, because that's the thing is that it's like okay, I feel like somebody countering this would be like, well, you're just supposed to enjoy the movie as it happens. But it's like, I can't look at this as a standalone thing and just focus on it as that, because you keep referencing all these grander things that are more important in the grand scheme of things. Like, oh, uh, they've mentioned Princess Leia of, what is her planet? I forget what the planet is, but they
Alderaan.
yeah, Alderaan. They mention her, and then she shows up at the end, and we
Oh, we
see,
need to talk about that. What did you think about the CGI? The
as far as
re- the dead actor or the older slash dead actors
oh, what is his name?
of Peter Cushing.
Yeah, it's Peter Cushing, but his character was like Grand Moff Tarkin. Um, it didn't bother me too much. I mean, I feel like it wasn't like Marvel level of where they like de-age people, like in Civil War where they did with Robert Downey Jr. or in the first Captain America, but it still was like, it was passable.
Yeah,
But like, I
I,
didn't focus on it too much.
I'm trying to think like the Princess Leia footage where she turns around. I'm trying to think, was that just old footage that they didn't
I
use, or
think it
was
was
that
like a
actual CG?
combination.
Yeah,
There's probably like, they probably like used footage of her from the original Star Wars as a base. Then they might have
yeah,
adjusted like what she was saying with CGI or whatever. But yeah, I felt like that looked better. It still looked kind of odd. Like, oh, this is weird coming out of nowhere.
yeah.
But
The Peter Cushing stuff. Yeah, it was like even if you didn't know that it was CGI, you would still think, okay, this looks odd for some reason.
yeah, but it's also like like I said, it just made me think of what is going on in the grander story. Like, okay, so what is Luke doing at this point? I guess he's still thinking about going to Tashi Station to get some power converters. Um, but yeah, so that stuff
Yeah.
was looming over my head, so I couldn't really focus on who was on screen in front of me. Like, you guys aren't important. Good job for getting the plans uh, to Leia, but
Yeah,
that's all you did
died for the cause,
for
for
the greater
the
good.
force was with them
But when you
for
think about
nothing.
it, the rebellion really screwed over Jen because they like released her from imprisonment, and they said if you do this, you can be free. It was like she was already free because you let her out. It's just
Yeah, exactly.
like, so basically they took her prisoner. It's like now you're our prisoner. So if you do this, we'll let you off. I guess that's the basic idea of how she got recruited into
And then
this.
she told them about her father's about the weakness in the Death Star, and he didn't believe her. And
Yeah,
they had to go out and sneak and do it themselves. And then eventually they helped out. And,
yeah.
yeah.
So I feel
What did
like
you what did you think about the Darth Vader scene at the end? Was it scary? Was it awesome? Was it
I
just
I liked seeing him use his lightsaber. Obviously, that's, but I feel like it was really just fan service because he's like, he does all this, like if you think about the timeline, he does all this, kills all these um, rebellion like soldiers or whatever, and then in the next movie he just is back to like having meetings and stuff about the rebellion. It's like it seemed like the fight was on already, but he's it's still kind of like throwing him into the action when he didn't necessarily need to be there yet.
but he went on there to like to get Leia and the other. I'm trying to think if I remember from the first film to like capture them because don't they kidnap them?
Yeah, I think so, but
Yeah.
was he involved in the kidnapping? I thought he was just overseeing it because I feel like he didn't really get into the action of the fighting until towards the end of the first
Hmm.
Star Wars. So it's like kind of having him be this like killing machine, then he like stops and then gets back into it later in the next movie. But I don't know.
Hey, I mean
I'm
it's
not the Star
draining.
Wars aficionado.
It's physically draining. I mean, you saw that he was
Yeah,
in that bash thing, re-energizing himself.
yeah. So yeah, so I understand why they were the most tweeted about movies. I mean, they are now they are the Christmas version of what Saw was for Halloween, where there was basically a Saw every
One
year
every
at
year.
Halloween. So this is what Star Wars is going to be now.
Yeah, you worry about it about because like the Star Wars movies, it used to be like this very rare sort of once every several years thing,
Yeah,
and
because that was the
now
thing where people didn't talk about like Star Wars fatigue, like they talk about
yeah,
superhero
now right.
fatigue. Now there's this gonna be a thing. It's like all these Star Wars, and it's even worse now because it's like people lump Marvel movies into a ball, but it's like, well, usually each one has like a different character and different
Yeah,
elements, and it was like these are all the same story. So it's like, yeah, you're gonna get Star Wars fatigue. Get ready.
all right. Well, I wanted to talk about things that people got stuck up their rectums
Well, I guess
this
since you
year.
mentioned
This
it,
very fascinating story with various objects that I was curious about, but Zach didn't want to talk about it for some reason. So
well,
we'll just talk about the best
since
wrestling matches of the
Well,
year.
since it's been mentioned, you might as well go ahead
No, no, no,
so
no.
you
I'm
can
not
give
gonna.
me extra material for my montage. Tony Hoffman butt stuff
No, the often bud
because
stuff.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
No, it's just that I just find it like
What were the most
fascinating and
interesting items that you saw on the list?
the most interesting. I like some of this stuff. I'm just trying to like figure out how the hell did they even like fucking get it up there.
I mean,
I
I
mean,
think that's part of why it happened so much. It's like, I bet you can't do this, and then they're like, well, I'll show you, and then it happens.
and it's not just the rectum. I mean, they have stuff for ear and throat and nose and pretty much every orifice. But we're gonna
I know
focus on
there's
rectum.
I know there's doctors that specialize. They're like an ear, nose, and throat doctor, but do they handle the butt stuff too? I guess
I
that's
don't
just
I don't see
specifically
why
a
not.
proctologist.
Hey, it's part of the human
Well,
anatomy.
I guess you wouldn't want that person handling all that because it's like, did you change that glove, sir? For you
Bacteria,
check,
exactly.
for you checking out my nose. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah. So this is like I guess according to like the hospital reports or whatever.
yeah.
But okay, for rectum we have using a vibrator last night. Thought was inserting in vagina. Interrupted by mom and sat up quickly. Inserted in rectum. Can't remove.
All right. That's
Okay.
run of the mill. That's kid stuff. What are the abnormal items?
Wine cork wrapped in paper towels, electrical tape, and a condom.
I guess that's what you call a DIY dildo. Okay.
I would say so. 10 broken crayons.
Bro, were they broken first, or did they become broken in the process?
I would assume you would have to break them in order to. Maybe they started out unbroken and then broke once they.
I
I don't want
guess.
to think about it too much. A flashlight.
All right. Sounds
Per
right.
wife, patient sat down on a screwdriver and it went up his rectum.
Yeah, sure. They always have their explanation of how it accidentally happened, but you know what happened.
This is one of the more curious ones. Put a pencil up rectum to make bowel movement to get gauze. Patient swallowed to come out. So he swallowed gauze and he put a pencil up his rectum to get it out.
I don't think it quite works that way, sir. There's a longer
Yeah,
path between those two openings.
yeah, like the large intestines and whatever. Yeah, these people obviously don't sound very bright.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Egg timer. I'll just run through these. Curtain rod, uh, nail cuticle tool, handle of a toilet bowl brush, hammer, nut and bolt, bingo chip, bowling pin, decorative pumpkin, tub drain cap, drum handle, baseball, salt shaker. Let's see here.
Shake it like a salt shaker.
Shoe shine container allegedly intoxicated, did not know girlfriend inserted object.
It's a great girlfriend you got there.
Ice pick in rectum to push hemorrhoids back in.
You didn't need that. You
Like,
could just
what the
use your
fuck?
finger. Ugh. Yuck.
That, yeah, I think that.
All
Let's see
right.
here. This will be the last one. Rectal fissure masturbating for her boyfriend using a hairbrush in her rectum yesterday.
Yeah, because that really does it for him, I guess. Yeah, that's never been my thing. So
So yeah, that's things stuck up people's rectum, courtesy of Deadspin.com. They have one for like the ear and for nose and throat and the other orifices, but we'll just leave it at that.
yeah,
You want to talk about some wrestling now? The top 16 matches, or the top wrestling matches of 2016, according to Kotaku.com.
sure. I'm interested to know what a
Want
video
to see if they
game
match
blog
up with
thinks
yours?
about wrestling.
Sure, awesome. Some of these I completely agree with, and we were probably gonna
I might have to
talk
reach
about
back in
them.
my mind to think about some of these, but I'm interested to see what they think.
These will jog your memory, sir. Let's see here. They have here to start the list in no order. AJ Styles makes his singles pay per view debut. Styles versus Jericho. This was at Fastlane, February the 21st, 2016.
See, I was thinking about their match at WrestleMania. I can't remember the Fastlane match.
Because he debuted at Royal Rumble,
Yeah,
and that was January. Yeah.
debuted in the Rumble. Then he wrestled Jericho at WrestleMania, which I remember not being a huge fan of because Jericho won that match. Um,
Yeah, it was stupid.
yeah, I had to revisit the Fastlane match. But yeah,
Okay, Sami Zayn versus Nakamura. This is at NXT Takeover Dallas, April the 1st, 2016.
I'm not too up on my NXT matches, so I wouldn't know much about those. But that gives me something to check out during this long break I have.
Yeah, they have the YouTube videos here. Yeah, this is
Cool.
Sami Zayn, who is very much heralded and loved in the NXT versus Nakamura.
Yeah, it's funny. Sami Zayn spent so much time in NXT where people were like constantly talking about when is he getting brought to the main roster? When is he getting brought to the main roster? And I feel like maybe it wasn't such a good idea after all.
I know,
He
just
probably could have had some more
squirmed.
highlights for 2016 if he stayed down there.
There's still time, hopefully,
Yeah.
for his sake. Um, this match, the women steal the show at WrestleMania. This is a Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks versus Charlotte, April 3rd, 2016. I
Yeah, I
agree with this
remember liking that.
not only because it was a great match, but because the main event was so fucking god awful.
Yeah, it's become a pattern with WrestleMania. It's been uh, disappointing main events filled with part-time wrestlers. Um, but yeah, so I remember liking that. I feel like their matches uh, currently have gotten even better, but I remember that being one of the highlights.
Yeah, I think even if they had like a decent main event, that still would have been ranked pretty high.
Yeah.
Um, the Fatal Four Way between The Miz, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn at like, Extreme Rules, May 22nd,
Was that for like the
2016.
IC championship?
Yes.
Okay, I remember that one. Yeah, that was a good one because it was kind of out of nowhere. It wasn't like a focus of anyone's attention really, but yeah, I think that one stole the show from what I remember.
Yeah, with the four pretty good wrestlers too.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh, the Owens Zayn feud ends for now. This
Ends.
was a
It didn't end
battleground.
at all. They wrestled with like a month later after Owens won the Universal Championship. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a good ending
July
for a
twenty
feud.
fourth.
It was a great match to close out a feud that ended up not being closed. Um,
I think we talked about this too.
yeah, I love the fact that like the feud ended with Sami Zayn just completely snapping. It's like, you know what? I'm officially ending this. Like he hits him with the haluva kick, which I always just look at as the hell of a kick. He hits him with that, and then he lifts him up and hits him with it again and pins him. So like it was a great ending to a match. They
I was
just
like,
have
"Fuck this! I'm ending this now."
yeah they just ruined it with the subsequent matches that nobody cared about. It's like, well, this was a great feud. Now you've kind
Yeah,
of tainted it.
and they like randomly had like one match with like that was like 3 weeks ago for like
Yeah,
no reason.
Yeah, it was like I think it was just like a qualifying match for a championship match or something like that, and they wrestled him. He was the first title defense of Kevin Owens after he won the Universal Championship with like no lead up into it. So it was, yeah. They've since sullied the memory of that match.
Uh, the Revival is the greatest tag team in the world. The Revival versus Johnny Gargano and
Tommaso
Tommaso
Ciampa.
Ciampa.
Yeah,
NXT Takeover Brooklyn to
I,
August 20th.
yeah. I've heard good things. Was this the like 2 out of 3 falls match, something like that? I know.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know I heard a lot about it from podcasts, but I have not revisited it yet. But I'm interested. I try to check out the NXT Takeover things, but they started doing them so frequently that it's just I wasn't keeping up. So that's one that I might go back specifically to check out.
Yeah, my WWE network subscription expired
Yeah, I
last
think
week, so
mine. I think I might have a few days left on it because I think I signed up on the first. So
I'll
maybe
sign
I'll.
back up for Royal Rumble.
Yeah, by that point
Definitely.
you might qualify for a free month again, and getting
Yeah.
Royal Rumble for free
Because they
is
always have
pretty
those
great.
specials, yeah, when they get close to WrestleMania and stuff.
That's the thing that's disappointing to me as well is that Royal Rumble, like it still is, but like now I have a reason to be skeptical. But Royal Rumble has always been my favorite pay per view, like beyond above WrestleMania, any other pay per view they have for the year.
Really?
Because it's the one show where you can count on actual like surprises happening. Like people will show up, like
Like yeah,
who,
unscripted stuff can happen because you can accidentally like knock people
yeah,
out of the fucking
and
ring.
there was actually a thing I have to go back. I think this is also on the network where Batista was talking about. I think it was Royal Rumble 2005, where
Him and
they're
Cena
yeah, they both ended up falling out of the ring at the same time to finish
and
the
fucking
Rumble. It was
McMahon
actually a
got.
mistake. Yeah, he like the whole thing was a mistake, and this I learned about this just from
He was
listening to
awesome though.
podcast. Yeah, so it was interesting. I guess the match ends where Batista is supposed to like bounce him off of like the ropes and then power bomb him in the middle of the ring. But when he goes to bounce him off the first rope, they just both fall out of the ring. It is like it completely ruins the ending. But luckily, like just by a mistake, they ended up hitting at the same time.
At the same time, it was like the perfect mistake.
Yeah, so then Vince comes out and
Pissed off.
like he originally I guess he was calling out for like he said where's Teddy and where's Eric like Eric Bischoff and Teddy
It's not
Long
gonna take long.
were the GMs of the
GMs.
shows because Cena and Batista were on different brands. So he was calling out for the two GMs to come out and they were gonna just improvise and I guess the story that they came up with on the fly was that one GM was gonna say their guy won, the other GM was gonna say their guy won. But apparently, because they thought they weren't needed anymore, Eric Bischoff and Teddy Long had both left the arena for the night. So that's why he was pissed off when he came out. He like threw his jacket down. He runs out into the ring and tears both quads
Both of his
immediately
quads.
upon
Sits
entering the
down
ring.
on the
Yeah,
canvas.
it just falls down, and then they basically just it's pretty much they just improvised everything from that point. So I thought that's like the most interesting story of a Royal Rumble ever. Just like how much of a shit show that was. So those type of things and just the surprises where you can actually get like debuts like AJ Styles. Like nobody expected to see him in the company. I mean, there was hints and stuff about it beforehand, but like those things, like
And he kept his name too.
yeah,
From NX, yeah,
yeah.
from
So
TNA.
so that was exciting.
I
So
just hope Goldberg doesn't win.
I think it's gonna be
Jesus.
yeah. I don't think that's gonna happen, but you never know. I feel like the way it's set up, where kind of the focus of the Royal Rumble is these two huge guys. I feel like their story is going to be the fact that they
Part
keep each other.
timers.
Yeah, the story is going to be that they end up losing it for each other because they're so focused on each other that somebody else comes up and like eliminates them at the last second or something. But um, yeah, because I feel like the story of their
Or,
feud is them versus each other, and you're guaranteed to have them not face each other if one of them wins.
yeah, yeah.
So I think that's how that's gonna go. But yeah, WrestleMania has become the show of like, hey, remember this? Remember this part timer? Here's something that'll boost the buy rate. But Royal Rumble still kind of has that mixture of like, okay, we have to get everybody on this show because you need 30
Somebody
men.
needs to push. Yeah, gets a push.
Yeah, so that's
A young.
always why I'm the most excited about Royal Rumble, but it has disappointed me for the last like few years now. So I'm hoping this next one will be better, but we'll see.
I do too. The next match is Bailey. Her last match in NXT. Bailey versus Asuka. That's a NXT Takeover
I think it's
Brooklyn
pronounced
2.
Asuka. Uh,
Oscar. I'm so sorry.
but
I
yeah,
am so sorry.
I never saw
Sorry,
this
Oscar.
one. It's funny though that someone hit me to this. Is that it seems like NXT, their feuds seem to have a pattern. At least their championship feuds is like this person has been built up and they become the most popular person on NXT. They win the championship. Then incoming person who they want to be the next person pushed to the top of the card. That person beats them. Uh, then that person, the former champ, loses their rematch. Then they get called up to the main roster. It's like it's a weird way to call people up because it's like, okay, you brought up somebody who lost, but like they were super popular. That's why you called them up, but you bring them in immediately after a loss.
They
So it's kind
lost.
of weird. I mean,
Yeah, but they don't bring the belt with them.
yeah,
So
that's the thing.
yeah,
That's why they do it because they don't want to bring the championship into the company. But it's like I think the one person who did that was Kevin Owens, and then he had to defend it and lose it after the fact. But I feel like that gives more excitement to a person. It's like, oh, this person's really good. If I don't watch NXT, how do I like? What do I get invested in if I don't know this person at all? So I would like for somebody to come up to be like, hey, I'm a winner. I won all championships I went up for in
look at this belt.
NXT, and I'm going to beat you for your belt. So yeah, that's just a pattern they seem to have.
AJ drops Cena down to part-time status. Styles versus Cena, SummerSlam 20 August 21st. I remember this match.
Yeah, I liked AJ versus Cena. Um, yeah, they're. I think both of their matches were really good to me. But I think what was it? This first SmackDown pay per view after the brand split was their last match against each other, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And I really liked that one too because he like firmly beat Cena, and I think that yeah, that's this match. So
it
yeah,
was
I
a
really
clean
liked
win
it.
too.
Yeah, yeah, I always like that.
Triple H at the end of Raw when he sabotaged Seth Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns to allow Kevin Owens to win the Universal Championship,
And
which he still has. That was Raw, August 29th,
and they say
after
this is one of the
SummerSlam.
best matches. In like, I mean,
I don't think it's
I have to go back and look and see if the
an
match was
overall
good.
match, no, but the ending was interesting.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like the ending is what would ruin the match for me. Like even if it was great up until that point, the fact that somebody who was not involved completely determined the end of it, it's like, well,
Yeah, I hate that shit.
like that ruins it for me. I mean, that's the type of thing you can do on Raw, but it really pisses me off when that stuff happens on pay per view or something. Like people paid for this, and then it's just screw them out of an ending. Like, so I wouldn't put that on my list of best match. It wouldn't even register to me at all. That would be one of my lowlights of the year, probably.
The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler at Backlash, September the 11th, 2016. This was after the whole Daniel Bryan Miz that promo that he did, and yeah, it was just it was pretty much the beginning of like the sort of the hot streak that the
Yeah, the
Miz has been
rise of
on.
the Miz,
Yeah,
the 2016 rise of the Miz.
That was a
I
good rivalry.
Yeah,
I like
the
that.
problem is that the rivalry is between Miz and Daniel Bryan. Like I
Yeah,
felt like Dolph Ziggler was just getting in the way because it wasn't even like Daniel Bryan chose Dolph Ziggler as his surrogate. It was just Miz calling out Bryan and then Dolph being like, "Hey, I'm here." It was like, no, just get out of the way. But it's like they've had good matches, but it's still just like you can't get me to care about Dolph Ziggler anymore. It's like I've been worn down to the fact that it's like this is not the person I'm gonna invest in. Like he was that guy maybe 4 years ago. It's like,
yeah.
oh,
He pretty
there's a
much is a
chance
joke.
he's on the rise. He's gonna get it, and it's like, nope. It's don't fool me again.
I hope the Miz gets like uh, a WWE championship um,
Yeah,
chance.
he absolutely deserves it. So
Uh,
I hope it's gonna happen.
the cruiserweight classic match between Kata Ibushi or Bishu
Kota Ibushi, I believe.
Ibushi versus T.J. Perkins,
Didn't
September the
see it.
14th. Neither did I,
Yeah,
but
I think I watched the first episode of the Cruiserweight Classic, and then
I heard
I
good things
I
about it,
got off
and
track.
I guess I can understand why people are so disappointed with the whole Raw.
Yeah, the
Uh,
Cruiserweight division on Raw is just like nobody cares. They're not giving any storylines, and it would make
like they
sense
did
if
with
this.
yeah,
I mean, even with the Cruiserweight Classic, it was a tournament, so there was a reason where it's like these people
and
don't
it was
hate
more
each other because
intimate.
this is just the one-off thing.
It was
But
a more intimate setting too. It
yeah,
wasn't this big giant arena.
yeah. Plus, yeah, they filmed it at Full Sail Universities where they
Yeah.
film NXT. So those people are like really excited just for everything that they see, and it was they had an excuse for not like delving into like feuds with these people because they were like they're fighting for this
To win the
trophy.
fucking
Yeah, they're
yeah.
they're fighting for recognition as the best cruiserweight in the country or whatever. And even with that excuse to not have storylines, they still gave them like promo packages like, okay, here's who this guy is and
Yeah,
here's
the
who this opponent
backstories.
is. It's
Yeah,
like, okay, so based on that you can determine on who to root for. But now it's just like, hey, there's a bunch of guys, they're small, watch them. And it's like, why should I care? Like that's the same reason why when Neville came out and attacked everybody in the cruiserweight match on the roadblock, that they said thank you Neville. It's like this is not the reaction we want these people to have. Like we don't want
we love
somebody.
you, heel.
Yeah, we don't want somebody to be cheered for destroying the division just because like nobody cares about them. It's like you're doing it wrong, WWE. So maybe I'll go back and watch the Cruiserweight Classic. At least they're getting the respect they deserve during that tournament.
A Cesaro versus Sheamus match. Sheamus
Versus,
match.
yeah.
Clash of Champions, September the 25th.
See, I don't. None of the individual matches stand out in my mind at all because it's like I felt like they had wrestled each other too much before this tournament started, and then they're like, "Oh, we're doing a best of seven series." Like, why? Like, literally, I literally never want to see these two wrestle again, and they're gonna
The,
wrestle
the
7 more times.
the criteria that the writer gives is that they delivered like old school hard hitting contests, a throwback to the 80s Saturday nights main events.
Sure, I'll take your word for it, but I could not be bothered to even pay attention to one of these matches.
No, exactly.
Um, they're doing much better as a tag team. So I guess the end result was good, but Sheamus is still, in my opinion, holding Cesaro back in this
Yeah.
feud and in this tag team. So I really think this is just a highlight of something that I feel like was an unnecessary part of the year.
Another Revival tag team match, the Revival versus DIY. NXT Takeover Toronto, November 19th, 2016. That's a little over a month ago.
Yeah, I heard really good things. Some people said it was like the best tag team match they've ever seen, and I'm going to check it out. But it just, yeah, these things just slip by me. I know NXT pretty much has the best wrestling in the
Yeah.
WWE now.
It
It's
just
from
makes me want to actually start watching some NXT.
Yeah, because that's the thing with me. It's like I can't be bothered to really care about anybody on SmackDown because it's been drilled into my head that it's a B show, and the fact that like Dolph Ziggler is one of their top guys, it
Yeah, it's
turns
not
me
good.
off. So maybe instead of like that place I had positioned for SmackDown, I'll just watch Raw and NXT every week, and maybe
Because
that'll.
like say what you will about like Raw, but at least like Kevin Owens is like the young new wrestler, Seth
Yeah,
Rollins a young new wrestler, and like they're competing for the top belt.
yeah.
And
It's
on
weird that
SmackDown,
yeah,
37-year-old Dolph Ziggler.
yeah. It's weird that the story of SmackDown, from the perspective of Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon, is like, oh, we're gonna be the new hotness in WWE, which is like you're not. Like in execution, all of the younger people seem to be kind of sideline characters. Like
Baron
you have
Corbin
Baron
and
Corbin, who nobody cares about, and then your new acquisition that was not around before the split is a guy who nobody wants to see in James Ellsworth. That's your new talent that you've developed over the course of your brand being in
who was
existence.
defeated immediately by AJ Styles
Yeah,
this
as he
past
should
Tuesday
have
in
been.
his championship
He didn't even
match.
get beat with a finisher. He just like elbowed
No,
him, right? So that like
all that all that lead up to that.
yeah. So this is that's why I, like SmackDown is supposed to be the good show. That's what everybody's telling me, but it's just like I can't, I can't accept it. Uh,
Like hopefully with this like Cena match with him and Ambrose and Styles on Tuesday, hopefully it'll lead to something. You know,
Maybe, but it's like I don't care about Cena anymore. You can go back to the Today Show or whatever. Uh,
SNL.
yeah,
SmackDown pulls out the upset of the evening. Team SmackDown, the men defeating Team Raw, the
I
men.
hated that.
So did I.
Yeah, I
Survivor Series,
it was the
November
one
20th.
match I wanted Raw to dominate.
They should have easily won with the Braun Strowman and just
Yeah,
just having the better, I guess, stable of wrestlers.
yeah, because based on like okay, it was a night of Raw almost sweeping them, and then like this was the match that above all of the other ones should have definitely been a sweep when you have four
Shane
guys.
McMahon.
Yeah, when you have like four guys who you could say are normal guys on each team, and then on one team you have Braun Strowman, on the other team you have Shane McMahon. Like that should just be a squash in that area. So that should have eliminated one of their guys from the start. It should have been like 5-on-4 from the very beginning.
Because I mean, if you have like a team of like Baron Corbin, John Cena, Styles, Ambrose, and like The Miz or something like
Yeah,
that's an actual formidable team. But the fact that
yeah. Then it would have
Cena's a
lived up to
Cena's a
their
part timer and
yeah would have lived up to their challenge of give me your five best, and we'll get our five best, including this guy who only wrestled once in the past 15 years. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Uh, Sasha Banks wins the title on Raw again before losing it on pay per view again. This is the Raw from November the 28th,
Well, I'll say
2016.
that match was really great. The 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 angle of how their feud is going is irritating. It's like so the story of their feud is that
That's over,
yeah,
quote unquote.
yeah the story of their feud is that Sasha has Charlotte's number on Raw, but Charlotte has Sasha's number on pay per view because that's the thing they're trying to uphold is Charlotte's undefeated streak on pay per view. She never loses a match on pay per view, so you don't want to face her in a championship match on pay per
Yeah.
view. Just always do it on Raw.
I
So
really love this match. This is the one where they go into the crowd
yeah,
and
and
she
she submits her in the
the bank
guardrail.
statement on the guard. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
that the atmosphere was great there,
yeah,
and it
I
was
love
just
that one,
great
and that
wrestling.
it was like one of the better main events of the year, just period. Um,
You see,
so
you're not a big Baron Corbin fan, but
I
this
hate
match
Baron Corbin. He's so
between
boring.
him and Callisto at the TLC on December the 4th, I thought was pretty good. I thought it was. I think it's a nice step in the heel direction
I mean, I
for
think that
Baron Corbin.
match was good. I just really I don't care about Baron Corbin, and Kalisto is somebody I should care about. I have like 2 degrees of separation from him, I guess. Like I know Maxwell Bombach, and Maxwell Bombach is friends with Kalisto, and he's from
Nice.
Chicago, but it's just like they've treated him as a nothing character. Like I thought he was gonna be the next Rey Mysterio, but they are not putting the push behind him that he should be getting. And like if anything, he should be in the cruiserweight division. He's not
Exactly.
even on the
He
show that has the cruiserweight division.
he's the one who got hurt by Raw or SmackDown not getting the cruiserweights at
Yeah. So
Survivor Series.
so I really didn't like that, and the fact that like he got his cruiserweight championship match, which would have been like a highlight of his career, and Baron Corbin comes out and interrupts that. So
But that's
that
what's
leads to
making him
this
into a good
match.
heel, right? Yeah.
It leads into this match, and the match itself I thought was good, but it's like I had so little interest and investment going into it. Like I watched the pay per view on delay, so when this match happened, I just like skipped through. It was like, okay, let me see the big spots, and then I that was pretty much all I saw of the match. Like I really liked the move where he gave him like the jumping senton off the top rope through like this like row of like six chairs. I really
Yeah.
thought that was cool. So it was a good match as far as spots go, but like for psychology reasons, I wasn't invested in the match. It's just like, okay, hopefully he beats him, and he ended up not. Like, I think Baron Corbin won this match, right?
Yeah, as he
So
should have.
he should have based on size advantage, but it's still like I don't care about Baron Corbin. I don't want to see him win matches.
No, you know
Uh,
what? You don't think that like he would be like becoming into a pretty good heel who can actually like compete, for the championship belt, for the WWE championship belt
I think
on
the thing
SmackDown.
I hold against him is that to me he's such like an old school character. Like he's like to me he looks like Kane, and he just reminds me of these old like early 2000s era heels, like somebody
Greasy haired,
Like Mike Knox
wet
or
hair.
Gene Snitsky or one of those guys, just like one of those.
Snitsky.
Yeah, one of those guys you just pull out if you like. Okay, this babyface needs a heel to go against for this month. And just, oh, go get
The
Baron
heel
Corbin.
blueprint.
Yeah, it's just like how they say, if you build a wrestler from the ground up, it will look like Randy Orton. And it's like if you build a generic heel in Raw 2000, uh, SmackDown versus Raw 2008, then he would look like Baron Corbin. Like heel, like okay, it's just a guy. Maybe he needs some kind of like different kind of outfit or change his hair, because I just feel like that greasy long hair
Yeah,
look is
wet hair.
so old school. Like Triple H doesn't even have that anymore, and he was like the epitome of that look. So I just feel like
Roman Reigns. Yeah.
he's it's just too much of like an old school gimmick to me.
That's all I got. Anything else,
Um,
Zach?
I think that's it. I mean, I'm
No
trying to.
TV. No.
Yeah, everything was
Still
all
the
for the
holidays.
year. Did you see Casey Affleck on Saturday Night Live last week?
I did, and it sucked.
Yeah, I think the only thing that stood out to me was the Jingle Barack song, "The Last Christmas with Obama." I really
Yeah,
liked that song, but
I
it
just,
was overall the episode wasn't great.
he
Much
doesn't have
like the
his
John
brother's
Cena
charisma.
episode.
Oh, that's the John Cena episode. But that
Yeah,
was better.
it had. I guess it may have had a couple more highlights. I guess the through Trump's eyes, like where Donald Trump sees himself as John Cena with giant hands. I guess that was funny, but it's still been like the last two episodes are kind of like a decline from some of the high highs of Saturday Night Live of this year.
The one sketch that just used to remind me of from the Casey Affleck episode was the one where it's like Mrs. Claus and like Casey Affleck and like Kenan Thompson and Vanessa Bray are like these elves and
Oh
like they
yeah,
want
they do this one
the
every
dirty.
year. I
Oh,
think they've done it for at least the past 3 years now. Like
this is not funny.
they're elves that like are
Naughty and they want
like
to get
into S and
spanked.
M. Like
Yeah,
you should just spank
you
us.
spank us.
You should take that candy cane and shove it with Sunday. It's basically the same pattern they do. It's an annual tradition, I guess.
Oh,
But
so that's why it's not funny. It's a recurring sketch. Well,
yeah, so yeah, so there's not much new happening. That's why I'm probably just gonna continue. I'm gonna continue my
plowing through
marathon of
Netflix and
Scream Queens.
DVDs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one good thing about Netflix. It seems like they have their releases that they do throughout the year, and on cue,
Sammy.
my cat Sammy has entered the
Hey,
conversation.
was he waiting till the end?
Yeah,
Good for him.
but uh my most recent visit to Netflix, I saw the show called Crazy Head. It's a show
Hmm.
from another one of the Channel 4 shows from the UK that they distribute on Netflix as a Netflix original. But it's featuring,
Who's in it?
and it's nobody you really recognize. I mean, British actors aren't really big over here, but they do a lot of different series over there. But one of the main actresses in this show is she's was also on the show. Um, what was it called? Chewing Gum is another show.
Chewing gum.
Yeah, it's another Netflix original slash Channel 4,
BB. Yeah.
BBC 4 or whatever show. So she was on that show as well. So it's basically about these two women who can see things that other people can't see. They see certain people in the world aren't who they seem. Like they see people with like burning faces. It kind of reminds me of the movie They Live, if you ever saw that with Roddy
Oh, you have the
Piper.
glasses and stuff.
Yeah, but they don't need glasses to see it. But they can see that certain people aren't as they see, as other people see them. They have like these burning faces, and they can tell that they're demons walking on Earth. So
That's interesting. I like
yeah,
that stuff. I'm
so
a big supernatural
yeah,
fan.
and I like the fact it's also like kind of a comedy. So it's a mixture of this like I've only watched the pilot so far, and I really like that. But it's kind of like a mixture of that whole idea from They Live mixed with kind of like a Walking Dead style thing. But
All those
I think,
Brits.
yeah. So I'm gonna plow through that because those shows they usually only have like 6 or 8 episodes. So I'm gonna
Which is
go
nice.
through that. I've heard some good things about that show, The OA, that got posted on Netflix a little while ago. So I might check that out. It's like a blind woman who disappeared and she returns with sight. And the mystery is like where she was while she was gone. So I might check that out.
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah, but
Did you?
that's like Netflix's thing is like to debut whole series around the holiday season because they know this is like binging time.
And people actually have some time to actually
Yeah,
watch these fucking shows.
yeah,
So cool, nice.
yeah. So anything you plan to do, or do you have a significant break between
Uh,
Christmas and New Year's?
I am going to continue playing Rise of the Tomb Raider.
All right,
I am going to watch It Follows. I bought that on Blu-ray.
great choice.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love
That's
that
why
movie.
I'm excited. And gonna watch some stuff on Netflix that I haven't been able to watch now. And now I do have the time, so yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking. I think we might have one more episode before the end of 2016, but in case we don't, I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Um, so I'm trying to think. Uh, so we'll see if we have another episode before then. But as I predicted a couple weeks ago, and I didn't want to be right about this, but we have lost another celebrity before this year, and we just recently lost George Michael.
Yeah. Yeah, usually they come in threes, but this year they've been coming in 30s.
Tens, 20s, 30s, yeah. So, and it's
What's
weird.
your
Like,
favorite George Michael songs?
I like
Wake Me Up Before Me Go Go.
Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Well, that was one of the songs we parodied in our original incarnation of the Frustrated Grad podcast. Uh, I think our version was Wake me up before your podcast. Frustrated grads took a break, but now back. Uh,
Oh, that's a very Weird Al.
yeah. So I have an affinity for that one because of that reason. Also, I like Faith, but my favorite version is probably the Limp Bizkit version, to be honest. Yeah.
Gonna,
Uh,
gonna
Fly, baby. But yeah. They,
Father figure, Faith. Yeah.
yeah, if you are a fan of George Michael, then basically a movie that's an entire love letter to George Michael is the Key and Peele movie.
Deadpool.
Well, no, the
Oh.
Key and Peele movie Keanu. Like,
Oh.
there's like all of his hits are featured in that movie at some point in like a highlight. They basically use George Michael as a way to bond with these like gangsters.
The director of the movie was Peter and Antisino. I think he
Uh,
tweeted something about it. He was happy that he had a chance to see the movie
yeah.
before he died, and
Well, yeah, because the movie was a large part of it was just a love letter to George Michael. So, at least we have that. So, I think that's about it for this episode. You want to give out your deets?
the deets.
Yeah, for people to reach out
You
to you.
can find me at Anthony Hoffman on Twitter and Facebook, at Anthony Hoffman, and uh, at Tony Hoffman Chai on Instagram, Tony Hoffman Chai CHI.
All right, and I'm on Twitter at Zach from Chicago. That's ZAC from Chicago. You can also find me on Facebook and um, wherever else social media accounts
Search
can
box.
be accessed by just searching Zach Hughes, ZAC Hughes. I'm on Twitter at ZH Radio, and I am on Instagram. I'm on Instagram at ZH Radio, and I'm on YouTube at ZH Radio as well. And if you want to follow the show, you can go to frustratedgrad.com, as well as follow us on Twitter at frustratedgrad, and on iTunes, Google Play Podcasts, and for the first time ever, the Frustrated Grad podcast is available on
Stitcher.
Stitcher. That's right.
Stitcher.
Yeah. And to close out, uh, I'm interested in knowing who is listening to the show. I see some of the numbers from the podcast. We have decent numbers on the podcast listeners. I see we have our consistent numbers on YouTube, and I'm interested in finding out more about you guys. So if you are listening to the show consistently, let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't like. Anything you have to say as far as feedback, hit us up at frustratedgrad@gmail.com, or you can reach out to any of our social media, as well as check out frustratedgrad.com. And if you like what we are doing, if you want to support us, check out our PayPal link. You can donate if you feel the need in this holiday season. It'd be nice
Festive.
to,
Giving.
yeah, it'd be nice to give to those who have given so much to you. I feel
Give
like,
to the poor and needy
yeah,
like us.
yeah, give to the frustrated grads. Donate to the Frustrated Grad Foundation. Anyway, that's it for this episode. On behalf of my co-host Tony Hoffman, this is Zach Hughes saying thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and that's all you get for today.
Bye, 2016.
Happy New Year. Goodbye. Fuck you, 2016. All right. All right. Now it's time for bonus chat. All right. So what are we gonna call this episode?
We talked about George Michael at the very end.
At the end,
You can make a reference to
Father Christmas figure. No. Trying to think. Tony Hoffman, butt stuff.
Tony Hoffman's butt stuff.
No.
Rectum.
Wrecked him. Damn near slayed him. Instead of damn near killed.
Damn near killed him.
So you can say damn near slayed him, like slay, Santa slay. I don't know.
I see what you did.
I'm trying to
Um,
think. Uh,
what did we talk about earlier?
we had
The
one main
first half.
subject we talked about. It's like a lot of movie talk with the movie uh, top grossing movies. We did top 10 matches. Uh,
Yeah, talk about Rogue One again.
two top tens and a microphone. Um, let's see. Yeah, weirdest gifts. We didn't get to that one.
Nah, it wasn't actually that interesting.
Yeah. Let me see. You ever marry a da, da, da. I'm kind of leaning towards two top tens and a microphone because those are both top tens, right? The best WWE matches with that are
Yeah.
top 10. Uh, or we could say just farewell to 2016, maybe. Because I
Maybe
don't know if we're going to do
extended.
another one. A farewell to 2016, part one. Um, uh, right now, I'm leaning towards two top tens and a microphone because I want to keep this
I'm down.
bonus chat short. So I'll do that one. And if you're listening right now,
Two top tens in the
well,
microphone.
that's kind of a long hashtag. So I'll say for the hashtag, you can tweet at us two top tens with the number two and the number 10. So two TLP 10S. So tweet at Frustrated Grad with that as your hashtag. And yeah, check us out. Donate. Anyway,
Please
all right. So that's
help
it
me.
for this episode officially. Peace out, everybody.